Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a blessing to be here again, right? Amen. Amen. Can we just do a little country song? Is that all right? I said, is that all right? All right. Lord, I'm glad to be in the service. I'm glad to be in the service.
Glad to be in the service one more time.
Oh, you didn't have to let me
You didn't have to let me live.
Oh, I'm glad
To be in the service one more time.
Oh, you know I'm glad.
To be in the service.
Oh, I'm glad.
To be in the service.
Oh, I'm glad.
Service one more time.
Oh, he
Didn't
didn't
have to let me live.
Oh, he didn't have to let me
Didn't have to let me live.
You know I'm glad.
In the service one more time.
Oh, you know I'm glad.
To be in the service.
You know I'm glad.
To be in the service.
You know I'm glad to be in the service one more time. You didn't have to let me
Have to let me live.
You didn't have to let me
Have to let me live.
But you know I'm glad to be in the
Service one more time.
Because we are in service to our youth and young adults, again, we're glad. And we have a speaker, presenter, facilitator, I'm not sure exactly what to call her, but our workshop leader today, Cynthia Hillary Jackson. Now, she didn't send me any information, even though I asked her several times, because she's just in the service. She's about doing her father's business.
Amen.
She is the lead instructional technologist at the campus where I work at Mississippi State University. And that's where I knew her first, and immediately said, "This is somebody special." Because you know how those technologies go on. They come in and act like it's stupid,
Well.
And I went to Albertine Marshall is here with her. She used to teach. She is Christian Education Director, was at Greater Piney Grove Baptist Church in Atlanta, Georgia. I went to a workshop there. Who was leading the workshop? Sister Cynthia Hillary Jackson. And I came away so inspired. Anytime she's teaching, I try to be. Amen. And today she's going to present us something that we all need. It's not something we're going to sit here and listen to. We have to take back and put it into practice. Safe sanctuary. All right. Amen.
Well, good evening, good lunch, everybody. I know this is a lunch and learn, and this is a good opportunity for you to chat and chew. You better get to chewing because we got work to do. When they call it a workshop, they said you wanted me to do a workshop. I said it means people got to work, right? So, but just enjoy yourself. Again, Dr. Marshall is here with me. That's we each other's sidekick. We rarely go anywhere without each other. She has some handouts for you. And if you have any questions, because this is going to go really fast, right? This is a workshop that I'll probably take about an hour, 45, 2 hours to do. And I got to cram this all into you and make sure that it give you opportunities for questions. Okay? So, as those are coming around, let me just do a little poll here. Where are everybody in here, youth leaders, teachers, workers? Am I correct? Leaders? Yes. perfect. And so I'm just gonna, it doesn't matter because we do this particular workshop for all of our leaders at church. This is something I want you to consider. I want you to take it back to your churches because this is vitally important to the life of your church.
Amen.
Especially now with social media and all the things that's happening. So I'm gonna find a way to look at my notes and not look at my notes. And see if we can make it through this thing. I may just have just done it. And we do it like that.
Ooh, thank you.
Again, those are coming around to
Just
you.
enough.
Take good notes. Make sure if you have any questions, write them down, and then we will get to them. And I may have to turn a little short light off just to make sure we can see.
I'm just trying to go there with it there. I want you to hear the music. I sure will. I want you to have all of it. Oh, okay.
So, show of hands. Who's ever heard of Safe Sanctuary?
Never heard of it.
Here, no town. Wonderful. Now, it's not wonderful that you haven't heard of it, but it's wonderful. That means we get to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 11, 12 churches that you can go back and train your teachers and leaders about Safe Sanctuary. Safe Sanctuary is one of those things where we talk about reducing the risk of abuse in the local church. That's the importance of Safe Sanctuary. Keep your churches from getting sued.
Yes.
Amen.
Especially when you're dealing with youth and children.
Yes.
Okay? And we're gonna find out some more about that. So, we're gonna talk about abuse in the church, and we're gonna take a visit to All Souls Missionary Baptist Church. Anybody ever heard of that? All Souls Missionary Baptist Church. Dr. Marsh, can you help me with the light just in case? Hopefully you can hear this. So, while I'm playing this video, I want you to think of one word. Everybody say one word.
One word.
Your response to the video. I only want one word. I don't want a speech. I don't want a back dissertation.
That was
I only want
perfect.
one word. All right. Here we go.
That's good. Turn the sound on.
Hold on, let's turn it up. Sorry.
You need the light on?
No.
On the computer. She should.
Yeah, I know so. I don't think that he might.
And that video game,
Yeah.
and then Tennessee, all of them come from
Start it over.
Turn it over.
Bishop, I don't know.
Now listen. God's word. The song is called. God wants us to love. You see, man's love is in God. God's love is better. Remember that verse of the special verse.
By night on my bed, I saw him. I knew that I love it. Our neck was like the fire of David.
month. Don't be afraid now. If that there in the book is the good month. Now go on. Finish the verse and I'll let you say what you did.
Oh my dove, that art in the clefts of the rock, in the secret places of the spirit. Let me see thy countenance. Let me hear thy voice. For sweet is thy voice, and thy countenance is comely. Take us to foxes, the little foxes, and spoil the vine, for our vines have tender grapes. My beloved is mine, and I am his. He feedeth among the lilies. Until the day break, and the shadows flee away. Turn, my beloved, and be thou like a roe or a young hart upon the mountain of mother. I will rise. Stop, 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 stop.
Mercy.
All Souls Missionary Baptist Church. They pay Blessings family some hush money. They also gave a love offering to go and never come back. I gave that to your mom. That's how you got that nice house. And then we all hidden corners. All of us. And we still have it.
Wow.
I've been getting paid $1,000 a month, if not more, just from this app on my phone. And I don't know if you can see this, but it's called Audible. Okay, so I'm gonna show you right here. I have a check from Audible. This is for $1,100. This one's for $1,100 again. And then this one is
Listen for your one word.
every month.
You don't want to hear yours. I do.
It's just one kind. No.
One word. Disgusting. Disgusting, awful.
Inappropriate.
Inappropriate. Huh? Scary. Scary. Good word. Huh? Sick.
Why?
Why? One word.
Violated.
Violate. Yes.
Kill him, 2 words.
Well, oh, she is that the person?
That's not right.
I don't know who you take. That person said.
Any more?
Preacher, I know he's a member.
But do know, understand that this happened.
Well,
Don't fool yourself.
come on now.
All Souls is real. And we as Protestant, Black Baptists, we have done just like the Catholics and swept it up under the rug.
That's right. Well,
We pay
yes.
people to move on, and then we move on, all for the sake of, right?
Come on now.
Twisting the word, just to please the people.
Come on.
But y'all, churches have gotten sued. We're losing money. Money we can't even afford to lose now. And on top of that, we are violating what the very word says, that whosoever would harm one of these children in my name, it would be better. It's almost, well, he said, whoever one was, it's almost welcoming me, Jesus said. But he said, whoever harms them, and harm doesn't mean brings harm just to them. That means harm to them, harm to the children. That means harm to our vulnerable young adults. That also means harm to our senior adults. We are dealing with a lot of things in church that's now becoming bad for the church.
It's bad for the convention.
Bad for the convention.
Because as of now, we're under, it's a lot of, it's one thing to be falsely accused.
Right.
But to be knowingly accused of something and then the convention comes up under scrutiny.
Right.
And And now we up on the 3 or 4 lawsuits now dealing with some of the same stuff.
There you go.
But now, let me just help you. It ain't just the preachers doing that stuff.
Right.
I know they paint the picture on these things to give you evidence
But there's a lot
of being as the head, but now you got women,
Oh, yeah. Workers too.
labor,
Yeah.
right? It's a mixture of all.
We're gonna teach a workshop.
I
But he's exactly right.
True.
He could, and it's not, and stop it. We can't just stop it at the past picture. He said it would be better for a huge milestone to come around somebody's neck and surround them by
They
the
didn't have any.
Right.
We don't take that to heart when it comes to our youth and children. We don't take that to heart when it comes to our vulnerable adults. And that's why we gotta have workshops like this so we can understand the purpose of and the goals of Safe Sanctuary. It's not just to protect the children, but it's also to protect the church. Because yes, just like Pastor, what's your name again?
Kelly.
Kelly.
Sutton.
Sutton. You tell her the kid instead of Kelly to answer.
Sutton.
Pastor Sutton just said there are false accusations, and we just let people in our church, and we don't understand where we don't even know where they're coming from. And so that's why we got to understand that we have to protect false allegations from paid volunteers, or even our paid volunteers, and the protection of the local church. Because once the church get a bad name, guess what happens? Nobody goes to that church. And so that's why we want to bring Sister Karen wants to bring to this light to this for our youth and children workers, that we got to do our best effort to keep our leaders trained, to keep our deacons trained, anybody that comes in contact with children, adults, vulnerable adults. You know, Brother Billy, that we know we used to call real slow. But Brother Billy still comes to the church every Sunday. When we see Brother Billy go walking back and forth, but we never stop Brother Billy. We have a Brother Billy. We used to have a Brother Billy. He's passed on. But you see Brother Billy walking back and forth, and nobody stops Brother Billy to say, Brother Billy, you okay? Who's taking you home? You all right? It's not until something happens to Brother Billy that we find that the church gotta do something. And now we're behind the 8 ball.
Right.
We don't want that to happen. So the populations we protect, youth, children, trustees, and church leaders, vulnerable adults like Brother Billy, and even elderly people. We see elderly people, glass faded, clothes not clean, and we don't even question. You know what we say? Well, where's daughter?
You're right. You're talking good.
Where's she? We never take it upon the leaders of the church that we should go see about them. And the Bible is very clear that we should, right? All right. Who do we serve? Nursery workers, children and youth ministry workers, leisure ministry workers, hospital, homebound visitors. You know, y'all deacon and deaconess, they go out. They'll tell you to go out, make sure you go out with someone. We make sure we do that, but when we go and we see the home unclean, we don't go back and say, oh, we gotta do something. That's what we do. Church trustees, business administrators, because when the church trustees, when it comes to them, then they gotta figure out how they gonna get you out this lawsuit y'all done got into. Okay? Scout leaders, pastors. Those are who we serve and those are who we protect. So why is the church at risk? One word. Throw it out to me. Why is the church at risk?
Children.
Children, why are we at risk?
Liability.
Liability, why are we at risk? Neglect, why are we at risk?
That's a good word.
Finance.
Kindness, no love. Why is the church at risk?
Lack of training.
Lack of training. Why are we at risk?
I don't know. Give me your answer.
Give me your.
Oh, Lord.
All right. Because we are trusting institutions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Trust everybody coming to church. Hey,
And be in leadership.
You want to be on you want to help with the youth out.
Sure.
You don't know where they came
That's
from.
what we do.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
You're right.
They just showed up at the church.
Yeah.
We'd be so happy to get a new member.
Yeah.
Yep.
We don't know the facts. I can ask y'all, what is the number one reason churches get sued right now, and y'all probably couldn't tell me. I can ask you the statistics of child abuse in the local church, not outside, in the local church, and you couldn't tell me, could you? Do y'all know?
One of the problems they going after church because they see money, and that
Yeah,
That has a
because
lot
we don't
to
know
do
the
with it.
facts, and because we are not educated and because we're not on the insurance saying we had safe sanctuary, they can get it. And we're gonna give it to them. Because they're gonna catch us not ready. But this is a way that you can get your leaders trained. You can send something to the insurance company. So when something does happen, you can say, my leaders are trained in this area. Yes, ma'am.
A couple of years ago, and I was in insurance at our church, everybody who works with the youth, they have to fill out a thing, they did a background check on it, and if you didn't pass the background check, you could not work with the youth department.
Exactly.
We started out doing that.
No,
Because we so
it was
churchy, we
training
love
and
Jesus.
purpose.
We're getting ready to do that in our state convention as well.
Absolutely, and you
Background check.
should, and you should, because just like Pastor Kevin said, we're gonna run the risk, right? We provide easy access to children and youth.
Mm-hmm.
If I told y'all somebody was missing out of this room right now, could you tell me?
No.
No.
The lower blue dress on, she's gone, you don't get no see here. If a child was in here and we sent them to the bathroom by themselves?
No.
Oh, y'all don't do that? Y'all sure?
But I hear you. I hear you. Yeah.
You be like, go to the bathroom.
Yeah. Yeah. I hear you. But if you send them with the wrong person,
Oh, we sent them with the wrong person?
you still got a
We sent them
situation.
with the usher that just got an usher boy last week. Just saying. Just saying, we encourage the parents. What does the parent do? We have not screened, mother, we have not screened our volunteers. Because we think they come to the church and it should be okay, the church should be a forgiving institution, and that's okay, just go serve the lunch over in the kitchen.
Some milk.
We gotta make sure you're right before we put you and not screen you with our children. And we only get offended when it's our children. We never get offended when it's someone else's child. Right? All right. We're opening and accepting to who?
Strangers.
Right. And hopefully we can help you with that. And we encourage close relationships, yet we don't train and concerning those interpersonal boundaries. So today, we're gonna talk about those interpersonal boundaries. We're gonna talk about what our safety touch areas. We're gonna talk about we call it the Baptist hug, but the Baptist hug is real.
Yes.
It needs to be in effect, full. Yeah. We're gonna talk about healthy touches, okay? So what's that step? It keeps people from being entitled, and your church will be considered negligent. They don't have to prove that your church is wrong, Pastor Kelly. They just need to prove that you were negligent. They just need to say you didn't train your workers. They just need to say that you didn't give any information out to your leaders to say this, that, and that.
That's your question. Did I hear you correctly? You said you will come train, and then you give us a paper to take to the insurance company.
I say that again.
Did you say that? Did I hear that right?
Once you train your leaders.
You train them?
No, you can you can train amongst yourself. Yeah, we can come, but I mean, you
I
can do this amongst
thought
yourself.
you had a company or something.
No,
That consulting group that comes in and trains.
No, I mean, this is our consulting group that we do.
I guess he's asking you, would you come to his church?
But I thought you made that.
No, I didn't, no.
Okay.
What I did is I took the Safe Sanctuaries training and I baptized it. I made it Baptist.
Okay.
Because they were talking about them.
I'm
We
right.
need something to talk about us.
Right.
Right, because how we do church and how they do church.
It's not the same.
That's right.
And so that's what we did, right? For my church, because I knew our leaders wouldn't be able to sit through that shit. It was, and now they're training for our church. Okay? So yeah, so your church will lose members, you'll lose membership, and you'll also lose money if you don't get this done. It's important that it gets done. So let's get educated. Everybody say, let's get educated.
Let's get educated.
We got much time, so we going. We're gonna talk about child abuse. We're gonna talk about rape. We're gonna talk about some of the statistics I've given you an information inside of your folder, so I don't have to read all of this to you. I want to get to the good. So
Right.
you'll be able to understand the physical things that we're talking about. So you know what to do when you walk up on Brother Johnny, who loves to plant that hard kiss on you every time you see
Oh,
you.
my
Every
God.
time, Brother Johnny, come on.
Come on.
We gotta do this, right? And how do you report accidents, incidents, and suspected abuse? You, as church leaders, are mandated reporters. Everybody say mandated.
Mandated.
By law. So you can get sued, and you can consider yourself a church leader and you don't report. Okay? The National Research Center for Child Sexual Abuse says any sexual activity with a child, whether in the home, in the by a caretaker, in a daycare situation, or where? Organized ministry. They just added that some years ago. We weren't in the mix. But y'all kept getting reports about child abuse, and they say, hey, National Center said we need to include them too. All right? Whether it's in the main church facility or away from the church. We're going to start talking about going on the church field trips and how we let our young adults just drive them to themselves. The church is liable.
Yep.
We want to talk about some things that keep you away from that. The abuse can be an adult, an adolescent, or another child. Types of child abuse. You know physical child abuse. You know sexual child abuse. It's emotional child abuse too. There's also neglect, and then there's also ritual. What is ritual child abuse? Does anybody know?
It means it's organized as like a cult or something of that nature, where there is it's an accepted behavior within that group, but it is not a society's accepted behavior.
Okay.
For instance, it could be that, you have a child and you bleed a child. And you bleed each other.
Okay.
Whatever, that's accepted ritual abuse.
Okay.
But it's not society accepted.
Okay. That's a good clean. I can use that one. All right. But I just showed you. Also, there you go. Also, is Missionary Baptist Church.
Yep.
He took the Bible, read it to him, and made it feel that it was okay for him to do that. That's ritual abuse. And we are going to get caught messing around with our youth and children and letting people expose our youth and children to some of these things if we're not careful. 3 million cases of child abuse reported each year. If I say 3 million.
3 million.
8,219 a day.
Oh, my God.
343 per hour. 6 per minute. 1 every 10 seconds. 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005, 1006, 1007, 1008, 1009, 1010. And I could go 10 more, and out of this whole room, 2 to 3 would have been abused.
You
In the last 10
recorded,
seconds.
a lot of us not recorded.
Thank you. You read my fine print. It's there. This is from the National Center for Child Abuse, but it also says these are only recorded things. What about the ones that's not reported? We're gonna be a mess. 1 in 6 boys experience some form of sexual abuse. So to all the children, if you got 20 children coming to your church, 2 of them probably hadn't said a word. 1 in 4 girls. And most of the time, again, like what we said, is underestimated since people are reluctant to support, especially when it's at the church, because people like to push it up under the rug and they don't report it. Profile of a child molester. Preferable and situational. Anybody know the difference? Preferable meaning they seek after your youth and children. They come to church because they've left another church and they come to a new church looking for youth and children. Situational is they go to the children's outing, everybody's all together, and you got, some little 16-year-old, she got a little shape, she starts messing, making jokes with the youth director, and one thing leads to another, and something happens. It's not that he preferred somebody young, it's just that he's 20 and she's 17. Situational. You got to make sure you got protections in place for that to prevent a lot of that. Okay? Known to the children of time, how much percent? 80%. It's
Uncle Joe, cousins, the deacon at the church. It's everybody. 20% of abuse is generally before the age of 18.
Mm-hmm.
So just take a look at your children at church. Often married with children. That's the high. So the first thing we say is, oh, he wouldn't do that. He's married. He got kids. He wouldn't do that. He like her like he don't own kids. Not so. Okay? One in four offenders is a member of the church's family or trusted in the care of a worker. About half are friends and family, friends and family. You know, I used to think my mother was just totally mean when she would let us spend the night.
I know.
You know, when we down south, so we run out and get to spend the night. You know, yeah, we can spend the night. I thought that was just mean. I'm like, why?
Nope.
But now I know.
It wasn't just you.
Now I know. Now I know. And I'm gonna skip this slide because again, I want to get to some of this stuff is going to be in links. Now, if you have persons here, you didn't get a folder, we do have a link. I have a drive that I've dumped a lot of this stuff into. If you want to share it with your other workers, feel free. I'll give you some sites that you can train on yourself in case you live in, Timbuktu. We can't get up there to Washington State. We can, you'll be able to get your workers trained. That's the most important thing for that. Most U.S. adults think sexual abuse of children is equally common among religious leaders and other adults who work with children. 50% people think that happens in the church, but we in the church don't think that. But people outside knows that it happens at church.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, no, some of them ain't doing it.
But they know.
Yeah.
Because people tell them.
They say, but I ain't being you.
Yeah. Top 5 reasons churches end up in church. Look at this is just from 2016. In court, I'm sorry. Thank you. I can't see. Up in court. 2011, what? Sexual abuse of a minor. 2013, 12. Sexual abuse of a minor. 2013, you said it. Sexual abuse of a minor. 14, sexual abuse of a minor. 15, sexual abuse of a minor. 2016, somebody must have had one training class and it went down with property taxes, but number 2 was sexual abuse of a minor. And now we're gonna have to update one to this one. That's why we end up in court. But we sitting in church up at the front with our hats on. We deaconess and minister, and children are getting missing, things are happening on field trips, and we have not a clue because we're not nosy enough to do ministry and find out. This is ministry. What you do up in front, that's just worship. This ministry is work. We got some recent cases, and I'll drop those in the drive for you, just so you'll know that it was like 4. I think I could pull like 4 different criminal liability cases for clergy just not reported. Someone got sued. There's one where they have a $20 million verdict for a child molestation in California. But we looking over at the Catholics like they need to get it together. 6.5 million settlement in failure to screen, mother, just to find out who had. We have a minister at our church. He's wonderful, but he has a case. We cannot afford for the church to take a risk, putting them back in the it wasn't a preferable situation, but it was. And it took place, and that's just the fallout of it. We can't control that. Yes.
We hired a musician from another state, and somebody went on Facebook and pulled up his, and he was a sexual molester. And the church hired him, but they didn't do a background check. And somebody else in the church who go on Facebook, they didn't like the way he was, because I'm from New Orleans and we used to say, talk, and he had those features. And somebody went on Facebook and pulled up his thing, and they brought him to the church and they had to fire him.
Yeah. Can't take the risk. We just can't afford it. We can't afford it, and ministry-wise, we just cannot continue to just ignore things that have happened.
Because if you put him in a situation, that's what happened with this situation. Somebody in Florida, they didn't do the background check. He came, left someone else and went to, was it Alabama, Maryland, it looks like?
Yeah.
And he was employed and nobody knew. Failure to contact, and then something happened, church got sued. Here you go.
But what do you do? Because, you know, they say, I did that in the past. That's my past, but now this is my present, and this is not where I am now. I'm not that person.
Right.
You know, I don't do, this is the church.
I
This is
know.
where you come for forgiveness.
Yeah.
And, you know, God is a forgiving God.
He
And,
is.
you know, I've moved on. Yes, I committed that sin,
Right.
but this is where I am now. And I've done my penance. And
Yeah, I just need you to go to the second gift on your spiritual gift assessment, which may be hospitality, just like greeting at the front. You probably don't need to just put you and just even tempt you in risking yourself.
And just don't let your guard down.
Yes. Say that again. Well, the law says you can't anyway. Just because you're the church, don't mean you get to be here.
but they come there with that mentality that, you know, this is the church and this is where you come for
And
forgiveness.
I want you
And
to have
I
that
have-
mentality and you agree with
'Cause this is-
everything that they say. But yeah, they work with the children. I mean,
If you
I'm
talk to
telling you,
him in
that's what
depth
they do.
about what are your triggers, and you know, you talk to him and you say, okay, explain to me what are your triggers, what triggers that type of impulse in you, then, you know, he'll self-disclose if he really wants it, and if he self-disclose, that's the reason right there that he shouldn't be placed in a position.
and we gotta talk about that, because I heard the word triggers,
Yeah,
because we gotta realize that we're not investigators.
right.
All we are is
Mhm.
reporters. Okay, and so we want to keep ourselves hands off that because we don't even want to do that and run the risk of getting sued.
Mhm.
There you go. Don't have to register.
Well, we always have to remember, not to cut you off, we always have to remember exactly what we're doing now is the key. Because if you're not trained, you're either gonna get sued for letting it happen, or you're gonna get sued for trying to tell somebody they can't.
Right, right, exactly.
Okay? So this
Yes.
is where this
Yes.
training comes in. Because people will
Because
sue
they also,
you
that's right,
because you
refuse.
discriminated
Mhm.
against them, and
Mhm.
you're in just as bad a shape. But I'm sure we get to that. Go ahead.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
I mean, that's a
Because
good,
that's
a
that's
good
where
way
I
to
was
put it.
coming from.
All right. So let's talk about some operating procedure, how we function at the church. Dr. Marshall, keeping up with my time. I see you just writing. Good. Oh,
You just need to go on.
The following procedures will help you that pertain to children's ministry and children's church, right? Everybody said 256.
256.
You need to write that down, write it down.
Oh.
256. I gave you a folder, gave you a little notepad, 256. When you're doing child monitoring at your church, you need to think about the 256 rule. You need to make sure that you use a roamer when 2 adults are not available. At our church, we have a deacon, deacon and deaconess, that they're assigned to children's church, they're assigned to youth church, they're assigned to the nursery, and they're roaming the halls to make sure that people are in place because children will get missing. Right? And if one is roaming, then that makes you somebody else available outside of the teachers, so they can keep teaching, right? So 2 adults whenever you're available. 5 years or older when working with the age group of helpers. No youth under 18 working with a group without adult supervision.
Right.
We like to take our 17-year-olds, say, you old enough, girl, go on in there and help the children. And then when the child comes back and says, oh, he took me to the potty, and the parent flies off the hinges because like, what are you doing? You're a child yourself, taking my child to the potty. You got to make sure that they're over 18, so they can work in the nursery, but they have to be supervised by an adult. Okay, 6 months membership in the church to work with anybody under the 18 years of age. Remember that trusting thing? Let people come in the church. Let them get acclimated to the church. Let them start children ministries, getting trained. That's why we have new members orientation, so we can get to know them. Don't pull them in the first thing and say, oh yeah, we need you on the usher board. No, let them sit there about 6 months, then you put them to work.
At least 6 months. I can go longer, but make sure. Everybody say 2, 5, 6.
2, 5, 6.
I'm gonna ask you that again at the end, so you gotta make sure you remember that. Window and open doors. Rooms occupied by children must be observable from the outside. This is what our nursery ministry looks like. Our children, all of our doors that we teach Sunday school in, that's youth and children, look like this. That means somebody that's roaming down the hall can peek in and see what's going on. If you have a door with no windows, we don't know what's going on in there. We don't know what they're teaching. We can't see what they're doing. So if there's inappropriate touch going on, if they're not touching on shoulders, elbows, and backs, then we need to know. We need to probably pull the brother to the side when you're teaching the young girls. Make sure that you do X, Y, Z. All right? So, open doors. Doors in the nursery must be left open or a half door, we call it. You have doors open up at the top. And windows on the wall, or mirrors on the wall, so you can see. We don't do that. And it's a simple thing you can do. Hotel settings, adult shares, no adult shares a bed with a child. I know y'all trying to save money at the youth convention, but no adult shares a bed with a child. All right? Adult sleeps in a separate room with creative monitoring. Frequent adult check-in. So I'm the night hawk if I were to go on the youth thing. So I'm gonna take the night shift and be like, hey, what y'all doing? Right? Then you got a morning person that you keep monitoring all the time. In a bunk room setting, at least 2 same gender adults may sleep in a large room with multiple bunk beds. I know we getting into this to the gender thing, same gender, all that kind of stuff. Not at our church. All right? We're not going to do that. And sometimes you're going to have issues. So if you know a young girl has tendencies and she has desires for the other sex, you've already got to know that. And you got to put her in the room with you. So you got to make sure we know and we're up on things.
Lawsuit.
Because it can happen. Okay?
That's a lawsuit.
Yes.
Would you repeat that? Because I think I missed it.
For maybe young men or young women that maybe are attracted to the same sex, and you know that. Some of them will now disclose that to you, right? And that's okay. It can be free to do that. But you make sure when you plan your youth trip that you don't put them with somebody that may be vulnerable or may not be comfortable with that. You got to know that's going on so you can know how to house it.
But you said put them in the room with you.
Yeah, I mean, not well, in a bunk room setting. I mean, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say in the room, because not in the same bed. Because they can be in the room, but you're not in the same bed, right?
But then you also got to be very careful. If you know that person like that and you put them in that room with you, and they're going to say you being discriminative. And then think about it, we got some couple lawsuits that's going on right now in Jackson, where the 2 boys, but both of them are declaring themselves as being a female, but they are males.
Right.
And they had to make some different changes for them to use a certain restroom at the school. And we dealing with stuff with that now.
Yeah.
So if you go putting that person in that room, why you put him in the room? Because you saying that I'm like that. Do you know I'm like that?
Right.
No matter what you think, what their tendencies might be, you better be very careful.
Yes, you will. Yes, you have to.
You'll be caught up in one of these lawsuits right here, and then overnight stays or whatever this is, ain't gonna help you.
Well, how do you deal with that?
It's gonna be hard.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
But if we're prepared and we're already thinking about that, y'all don't ever excuse the work of the Holy Spirit to guide you and lead you.
Right.
These are just information, so you have the information. So if and when you decide, I done dropped her.
Showing you.
Because she's being wild on the back of the road. She don't know how to act.
Look at
So, you gotta keep going. Outside trips. Y'all love to take these children on these outside trips, and you ain't got no travel form, no permission slip. Don't take a child off your campus without a permission slip. Please promise me y'all won't do that. Because the minute something happens, the church is liable. And we don't have those kind of parents that we have that won't sue the church. They gonna sue your tail off. I'm serious. If they even scrape their ankle on the trip. You better get those permission slips, get all the contact information, make sure you know who's out, provide adequate supervision. 1 to 5 for elementary age students, so if you know you can't run behind them little kids, you better get some youth workers, because they will escape you. I know my grandbaby will take off running up there. Look, I tell my husband who runs 5 miles, you better go catch her. I can't do that. You have to. 1, 5, and 7 for 6th to 8th grade. Them the ones really get missing. And we have a church where you can go under the steps, you can go, One is 6 to 8 for 9th grade to 12th graders. Have at least 2 children and additional adult ride in personal vehicles. If you have to do the vehicle thing, okay? Because this is what it's gonna look like if you have your, question.
I wanted to say something about the vehicles.
Yes.
We would take our kids to the Kids Across America camp.
Right.
And we have a charter bus, and all the males had to sit on one side.
There you go.
And all the females had to sit on the other. We did not let.
Good idea. Write that down. That's a good idea. All right. So if you use your buses and things, y'all ready? Yeah. If you use the buses as church-owned vehicles, then again, that liability form is critical. Never let them drive from this church to an off-site location, because that's what it looks like when teenagers drive from an off-site location. Somebody gonna act up. And because they're going to your church activity, you're liable.
For real.
No seat.
Yeah. Because when the police stop them, guess where they gonna act?
Where you headed?
God, who's in charge? Where you going? We going bowling with our church. Like this. Do y'all church know y'all supposed to be going? What you do is you have them come to the church.
And then y'all go together.
And then you transport along with everybody else. And then an adult can go with them. Right? So you gotta have at least 2 adults and 2 you when you were driving personal vehicles. Keeps you from, Johnny get his hand all crossed up. Because that can happen. They can get abused on the way to the church even. Well, we don't think about that stuff. We just say, she driving now. We got to worry about her. Yeah, just come on. All right? Good deal. Appropriate touching when it comes to youth and children. Everybody say LIFO. Last in, first out. You got it. Last in, first out. All right. So, she's recording. Come on. Last in, first out. Never, when you're dealing with appropriate touch, when you're dealing with people at church, youth church, or whatever the case may be, you always want to think about being last in, first out. So if you know Brother Johnny has a propensity to lay those juicy kisses on you, or always want to do the extra hug, what you always want to do, when you see him coming towards you, now you Brother Johnny, when you see him coming towards you, right? You will automatically, if you don't remember to get the boundaries so ready, yeah, there you go. You ain't give me a chance. I turn around and you bam right there. So I'm going first out. Right? But you know I'm getting the Baptist, so I got the lady back there. You keep the body, you keep it and you last in first out. Everybody the last in first out. Remember that because it's gonna happen and you're gonna be like, that was she meant.
Hey, Mom, I see you up there holding too tight on you.
Yeah, you hold too tight because they give a chance. And then you want, and then if he catches you off guard, remember you talk about the boundaries. Always know the perspective, the size of. I know she's recording. So if I see Brother Johnny and I'm telling you, he's coming at me, I bam. No, they go ahead. I didn't even get a chance. 5 minutes. Protect the side hug. Can you protect the side behind us, okay?
It's on our Facebook
Right?
page,
All right. Now she's
so you can look at it as many times as you want.
Okay, so.
Now she's a pastor.
Thank you.
Pastors, y'all are notorious for this when you're dealing with children. Sienna, you listen.
Sutton.
I know one of you answers. Women pastors, you work. Oh, your baby's so cute. Pastor, you want to hold her. You never bring the child close to you. So that way, all you see is space in between you. Right? So you gotta know these personal boundaries that you want to keep when it comes to our youth and children. When you're talking to a child comes to you, the first thing you want to do, and most of us can't get down there, so you come down to their level. Yeah, you come down to their level. Okay? Then, even with that doesn't work. Then, take the side of, Rachel talked about the boundaries, so you reach your hand out first. I know we don't do the shaking a whole lot, but, okay? Stand up for me. Yeah, same thing with Santa Claus. Here you go, same thing with Santa Claus. Everybody say shoulders.
Shoulders.
Elbows.
Elbow.
Backs. Shoulders. Elbows. Backs. So when you're talking to a child with shoulders, how you doing, hon? Or it's elbows, you doing okay? Or how's everything in the house? Shoulders, elbows, backs, okay? We won't get to the vulnerable adult part, but that is critical when it comes to appropriate touch. Discipline, always remember the sandwich rule. Something good, tell them something bad, and talk with something good. All right? When it comes to the discipline, you can't be at church and say, girl, what you doing? You need to tell your mother. It sounds a lot different and more Christian if you say, you know, Johnny, we love him in Sunday school. I love the fact that he's coming. But today he had a very bad day. We may want to try to do some alternative things that we can do next week so Johnny will come back. That's the sandwich rule. That sounds better if you don't tell him to come back. Potty policy, make sure that you're going with your children or ushers, somebody, senior adults are taking your children out to these bathrooms. Things are happening back there and you don't know. So inform the parent if they have an accident, you inform the parent, okay? Restroom with your kids, what you do, you should, boom, what's going on in here? You have a bathroom monitor, y'all good? But you gotta be the same thing as the bathroom, okay? I know we gotta go, but also remember that social media communications, stop. How many of y'all are friends on Facebook with children in your youth group? Don't raise your hand, don't do that. Because I want you today, stop. You're gonna do the church social media. You're gonna be live with it. You have private conversations, things that are happening, and you're friends with them on social media. If your cousin, that's different. But if it's children and youth, you make sure that you have an admin account that somebody's in charge of so that you don't get caught up in any type of liability. Okay? I know that for the youth and children, just remember that you're a mandated report. You are responsible for reporting anything that happens with anything at your church. And if you don't, you're going to be held liable and you can be sued along with it. So report accidents, incidents, and suspected abuse. You are not investigators. Don't ask children things over and over again because the children want tend to repeat what you want them to repeat. You let the investigator do that. Your only job is to report. Okay? So I hope that you have all the information with Georgia laws and all that wonderful stuff. That's in your handout. I'm going to share a lot of that with the link. Just make sure that you're doing everything that you need to do to keep your church protected. Report it, you see it, you say it, report it. Just don't investigate. Because that's where things begin to happen when you start investigating things like that. Okay? So, with that being said, we won't even get to vulnerable adults and the aging youth because this is more for youth area. But just remember that there are certain things that you need to do in order to, one, protect your workers, and two, protect your church. Any questions?
Love it. All right. Love it. Beautiful. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. You got it.